Okay, so now that we found out that you could take all this e and like this e to the 2x and put it all underneath, now how are we gonna take it out of the radical? That's simple. So all we're gonna do is now we have the L equals the 1/2 times the integral. I erased it and I'm doing it a second time, times 0. And now we're gonna have 1 over e to the x, not e to the 2x, but e to the x. Why are we gonna do this? So that we can multiply, so that when we do the multiplication, this e to the 4x could become a 2x plus 2e to the 2x plus 1, okay? So that this e to the 4x can become a 2x. Why are we going to do this? Because all of this equals, this all equals x squared plus 2x plus 1, right? This is what this equals, which equals x plus 1 quantity squared, right? And so we're going to put this into the next step, step 11. Step 11 shows us that I'm just going to write so 1/2 times the integral of 1 over e to the x, remember, not e to the 2x, but e to the x, equals the square root of e to the 2x right, e to the 2x plus 1 quantity squared. You wouldn't have been able to do this if this was a 2x, because if this was a 2x, this would have just been a regular e to the x. We need this to be an e to the 2x so that it can, you'll see what we will do with it later. That's not really an answer. Let me put my dx's where they should be. And put my degeneration x's where they should be. And then in step 12, so this is step 11, right? So a square of itself just equals itself. So this can pretty much cancel. You can cancel this radical. And so what you're going to have is 1/2 times the integral of 0 to 1 of friggin' e to the 2x. Well, 1 over e to the x times e to the 2x plus 1 dx. And now we're just going to multiply this back in with it, right? So we're just going to multiply this back in, right? So that was all step 11. So step 12, what we're going to do is, now we're just going to multiply it all together. 1/2 times the integral 0 to 1. Now we multiply this all together. We're just going to place the e to the 2x plus 1 over top of the e to the x. Simple. So that's how you just do it. E to the 2x plus 1 over e to the x dx, which is going to equal step 13, which is where we're getting closer, guys. We're going to be able to cancel out a 2. So before we get to step 13, we're going to cancel out this 2, going to cancel out this x, make it more simple. It's going to be 1/2 times the integral from 0 to 1. Finally did it the correct order this time. E to the x. Notice we canceled out an e. And we're going to bring this e up to the, we're going to bring this e up above the 1. So it's going to be e to the x plus e to the negative x, because we brought this above the 1. So we brought e to the x. This is like 1 over e to the x equals e to the negative x. Just remember that, okay? And so we brought that one up, okay? So now we're going to have to find the integral. So step 14, now we're going to find the integral. So 1/2 times this quantity of e to the x plus e to the negative x. We're finally here. 0 to 1. What does that equal? Okay, so step 15, and step 15 we're going to find that did I already write it? Step 15, we're going to find 1/2 times e to the 1 minus e to the negative 1 minus 1/2 times e to the 0 minus e to the, and I'm going to put a negative 0 just to make sure it stays, just to make sure that it stays consistent. All right, so what we get out of this is all going to equal 1 minus 1, which equals 0. So this whole thing, you can cancel it out. So we're just going to be left with this right here, which equals, well, let's just make this a step 16. 1/2, rewriting it, times e to the 1 minus e to the negative 1 equals, e to the 1 is just e, so we're going to put that right here, e. E to the negative 1 is just e to the, e to the negative 1 is just that. So e to the negative 1 is going to be equal to 1 over e, right? And we're going to multiply that by 1/2. And what we're going to get from that is 1/2 e minus 1 over 2e, which also equals 1. So in the end, you should have 1/2 e minus 1 over 2e, right? This is the answer. I also symbol labbed this and found that the answer could also be e squared minus 1 over 2e. So these are the two answers I found.